Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Free Yourself podcast, where we invite you to create space to flourish. I'm your host, Jeff Miller, and today is day 2 of the Free Yourself Scented States tour. First, we traveled from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, and now we arrived in Sedona, Arizona, a place renowned for its transformative energy and breathtaking beauty. I'm incredibly excited to introduce today's guest, Rahelio Rodriguez. First, let me say I'm doing the introduction after my time with Rahelio, which was a mind blow. We had a healing session and then was able to sit down with Rahelio. It was really phenomenal. I feel like I've shed some skins, and I feel like I'm kind of ready for the next part of the journey, which is really incredible. Partly because I was racing and I literally was supposed to meet Rahelio at 1:30 sharp, and I arrived at 1:27. So we jumped right into things. So let me just tell you a little bit about him. He's a renowned mystic, spiritual guide, and healer whose teachings, they blend Toltec wisdom, Cherokee ceremonial traditions, cosmic insights, quantum physics, Buddha, Jesus. I mean, he's really incredible. He's based in Sedona, and his profound connection to this sacred land and its powerful vortex energies, that's what attracts seekers worldwide, and he helps them explore deeper consciousness, healing, and I can definitely say transformation through shamanic rituals, meditative practices, and very intuitive wisdom. Rahelio guides individuals toward meaningful communion with the spirit, with breath, and with the unseen energy shaping our lives. And I'm just going to tell you, that was certainly my experience, and I hope you guys enjoy your time with Rahelio. So let's go ahead and explore what it means to trust the journey with Rahelio Rodriguez.
So, Rahelio, thank you so much for being here and inviting me into your very, very personal and special space. So you're a healer, a mystic, a shaman. You work through many different traditions. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I'm a modern expression of the past.
And can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, we have wisdom traditions from the past through various lineages, etc. But also they're limited by the time that they've come from. And we've come through like a dark age, you might say. And so we were all stepping up to a new revelation, a new synthesis of wisdom. And as we engage with others, we see where their perspectives are, and it expands ours. So I kind of merge a native and shamanic perspective with a Buddhist perspective, with a Christian mystic perspective, with the quantum physicist, with the depth psychologist, we all, science, religion, and spirituality are all coming together.
One of the major parts of this tour is 51 in 51. That's Dr. Martin Seligman's vision of 51% of the world flourishing by 2051. He's one of the co-founders of positive psychology, and it seems that everything that you just said is about that, is how do we bring people together, different voices, different ideas, and collectively heal ourselves.
I think we're looking at more like 2033.
Okay.
So
I'll take it.
Because we are stepping up into a much more accelerated time of change right now. And the shadow of the collective is coming up and having to be purged. And the earth also, human beings are having to awaken. We're a part of a greater, everybody's got these tunnel vision on, this blinders on, stuck in their politics or their religion or their belief systems as a limited human being. But when the universe starts knocking to say, time to expand consciousness, they begin to speak to the Mother Earth, through the sky and through the signs all around us. And a quickening is happening. If you look back 120 years ago, 124 years ago, toward the last century, how we've advanced so much with our science and our aviation and, technology just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And from buggies and horses, we're now got these cars and these spaceships, and got the flying cars are coming out next, and the whole technology of the Jetson. Remember the Jetsons, the
Sure.
space age? That's all stepping up now. But with this technological quickening, there has to be the spiritual counterbalance, the organic and the natural, and that which is sacred within us has to begin to awaken. If humanity does not connect with sacred, with their oneness with the universe and the circle of life, that is going to break away because it has to be shown its limitation. And so what happens when the earth starts saying, you guys are not in charge? Your technology is not in charge here. What happens when the elements go out of balance? The sun is getting hotter, and it's driving our weather patterns. And the earth is the volcanic energy starting to rise up. There's starting to become more earthquakes are happening all of a sudden. And we're seeing bigger hurricanes and tornadoes and out of season storms happening, and flooding and fires, and then the political unrest. And it's like, what's going on out there? I better connect here to find my center if I'm going to be a part of changing. They're helping to bring in it's kind of like a midwife, helping this Mother Earth is giving birth to a new time, a new Earth is being born, but the old is breaking down. So all the old suppressed memories and feelings and the traumas of the Earth, of the human psyche, subconscious, collective unconscious, all that's coming up to be purged. Old things are coming up for people to, like never again. Well, genocide has happened not only on the Native people or the Jewish people or the Palestinian people. Genocide has been happening, and we're losing species on the planet. Coral reefs are dying. Nature is going through this. It's like a wake-up call. But if we don't pay attention, we don't realize that the Spirit is always speaking to us. It is always here with us. If we can begin to attune ourselves to the universal consciousness that's here, like be here now and connect with that, and let that guide our action and our understanding. So humanity has to make a choice. Am I going to awaken to that, or am I going to stay in the lower 3D program?
You are the right person. I'm so glad I came here. I knew that actually when I was dropping down into Sedona and was coming, I came through West Fork Trail, the road through there.
89A coming down.
And kind of the energy changed. Everything changed. I opened my face mask and the fragrances just like were unbelievable. My body energy changed and all of that. You said quantum physics as well as part of, part of the tool in your toolkit. So do you believe that science also plays a role in all of this?
Science is just trying to define what is real. And it has excluded the spiritual because it can't measure it. But as it's breaking down the subatomic particles and the astrophysics, all of a sudden I'm realizing that there's a consciousness behind it all, and that we are one with that consciousness, that our intent, what we believe, can also shape reality. So we are like co-creators here, and we have to be responsible with how we use our minds, especially on a collective level. Right now there's a lot of conflicting frequencies and tear down the old world because it's not serving, and people in power may be abusing it, and not an equal distribution of the wealth, you might say.
Yeah.
And so there's unfair, it's out of balance for so long it's been out of balance. The people at the top don't always recognize the needs of the people at the bottom. So the people at the bottom are starting to rise up now. Like today, there's like major peace gatherings.
Yeah.
That can be sabotaged by people's anger, or people who are willingly or purposely coming in to sabotage with anger to create a conflicted energy versus a loving frequency to help reconcile. And so that's our choice. So are we going to reconcile with cooperation and understanding each other's point of view, or are we going to go into violence like this?
Yeah. So this tour is about, for us, is about storytelling, is about creativity. I love that you said co-creator. Is about collective well-being, bringing people together. We've been divided because of COVID, because of technology, because of politics. And we know that human flourishing that our wellness, our well-being depends on our gathering, our working together and being together. And I also mentioned symbols to you, that, symbols and what role they can play, and our resilience. I think sometimes we think of resilience as bouncing back. I think there are maybe a lot more layers and dimensions of resilience than just bouncing back. But you're talking about us kind of reemerging in a new time right now. And I love that you said co-creators. Could you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, the myth about the phoenix, mythical bird coming out of the ashes of the old destruction and a new consciousness born.
Yes.
So we go through symbolic death and rebirth within our own self, and we rebirth ourselves periodically through our life. And as we begin to attune to our higher destiny, and we change the world, we change our destiny. So co-creating, right now in the 3D mind, we don't realize that the power of our thoughts and the power of our words. We know that words have power. We know that we are co-creating our reality. But as we come into a quickening into the future time, the third dimension, cause and effect, is starting to be interfaced with the cosmic awareness, a higher dimensional consciousness. In order to navigate that is the power of our creative intent. So our minds will make manifest our reality, kind of like the teaching, if you have faith, you can move mountains. So as we begin to have faith in the universal connection, whether that's through the Lord Jesus or through Buddhist wisdom or shamanic wisdom or the Mother Earth spirit, the Divine Mother coming to this Mother Earth, the ancient grandfathers that guide us, the holy people, just interfacing with a powerful intent to bring beauty into the world and cooperation and doing our best to work in harmony with each other, a synergy, but it has to be with the Mother Earth. Because what happens when we have these big earthquakes, and with that in the ocean comes tidal waves? What happens when you have big hurricanes hit an area, and then the tropical storm, the flooding of the rains? Communities got to work together to. And I believe that we're also many people being open to receive higher guidance, where scientific discoveries and new technologies and maybe even ways of harnessing water from the atmosphere.
Wow.
By sending dive boxes to draw the water in that can give people water. Say if we have a solar flare and knocks the grids out and all of our electricity's down, and how are we going to make do, So alternative ways coming in where people can not only survive, but to begin to work with the sacredness of the water element or the air, with the earth, begin to work living more consciously.
I want to come back to 2023, but before I do that, I just want to mention,
2033.
2033. But you mentioned the elements and talking about the earth. We talked about air. So I told you that I'm co-founder of a fragrance brand, and at Free Yourself, and we started the first collection of the elements: earth, water, air, and fire. And we did that because the whole purpose behind that is bringing people together, transcending generations, cultures, gender, and everybody has a relationship with the elements. Is a direct relationship with them.
And we are one with the elements.
Yeah.
Earth in the mineral kingdom is in our body. You take minerals to supplement your health. Water is like our emotions, but we see it in the blood and the fluids of the body. Air is our breath.
Yeah.
Is the life force is the breath, and then fire is the spiritual consciousness.
So we're adding 2 more to the collection at the end of the summer. The 5th element is ether.
Space. Everything is contained within space. So it's a medium, like we have the power of light and take to travel to that next star many, many light years, but thought intent can be there. As we awaken to higher consciousness, we can be there with a thought intent. So the space of the ether, it contains everything, and out of that nothingness came forth life. And that nothingness is the womb of creation. And in that darkness, some people can be very afraid of the darkness because it's not connected to their soul power. But ultimately, we connect with that in order to give birth to our dreams. So every night you sleep and you go into that darkness, that unconscious, and then from there you begin to dream for it. But we have to go to that place to regenerate ourselves and to connect back with like the womb of creation, with the mother, sacred mother's womb.
I literally have 3 tangents to go on right now. So let's see if I can keep track here. I'm just going to go to the 6, and then I'm going to come back to dreams, and we'll still go to 2033. So the 6th element is numinous, transcending the elements.
Okay. Well, space does that. It's like numinous would be like the consciousness of the transcendental. That when we live in the heaven realms, we're not just defined by our 3D existence. When we cross over, we return back. And there are many levels of intelligent existence there.
Amazing.
And that is what's guiding us through our ancestors and through the sacred ones that have always guided humanity.
Wow. So Kim Gillingham is a world-renowned acting coach, but a dream guide. She's studied under Marion Woodman, who was a Jungian scientist, therapist as well. And she was one of our panelists at our launch in Beverly Hills. I guess that was the day before yesterday. I'm losing track. And, she uses, when she works with actors or creators, not just actors or directors, but just even leaders, people in business positions, traditional tools, but pretty much connects those tools to dream work and to dream symbols. So, she, for example, the letter I wrote to myself last night was, "Dear inner self, if it is your will, please reveal to me tonight in a dream what you'd like me to know about this next leg of my journey and air." And when I woke up this morning, I woke up and I literally was blank. And I was like, luckily, in that moment, I knew I had to write my dream down, but I was like, I always dream. I always know my dreams. I was blank. Didn't know what that was. So today on the ride over, I was thinking a lot about that and what that might mean with air, and maybe this kind of the struggle of wanting it so badly that, and to try and be in line with writing on that. But I just thought I'd share that because you're talking about dreams.
Quite often when you're blank means it's like, get out of the way because you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
And surrender to that moment. And you ride it on a motorcycle. It's all about the air.
Yeah.
It's all about the air.
Okay.
It's all about the breath. It's all about from like shamanic perspective, the spirit is always here. We just got to take the blinders off and begin to recognize.
Yeah.
And so there's an awakening taking place today. People are going like, I'm seeing these numbers on my clock. I'm seeing this license plate that says this message that I needed to hear. I turned on the radio and it said something that the whole message wasn't what it was about, but those few words is what I needed to hear, or this TV show, or somehow somebody's saying something that I needed it to trigger this moment for me. So the synchronicity is what I'm speaking of, is the consciousness that's kind of guiding us. And so, synchronicity, to recognize it means we need to be still within ourselves. And that emptiness allows it to speak to us versus us trying to shape it and trying to define it and let it be revealed. So dreams are part of that because that's where your guidance can speak to you through your dreams. And quite often your subconscious mind will flesh out dreams also to show you where you have unresolved issues that you're trying to look at and resolve.
Mm-hmm. But
you get solutions to problems and you get guidance, glimpses of the future and realizations from the past. And so in shamanic traditions, dreaming has been very, very, very powerful. And the Western world has recognized through first Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung and these pioneers of dream therapy and psychology. But for shamanic people, dreaming has been the basis of their spiritual traditions, and that going to the mountain to receive a vision, to dream, and fasting and praying, and as I mentioned, everything's a part of as a symbolic relationship, a meaning. So every tree and plant and everything elemental force has a teaching about it, what it shares to us, because we are a part of that. We are one with the circle of life, and everything has some type of a alphabet, you might say, that is communicating to us. Just if you can read the alphabet is the key.
If you can read the alphabet is the key.
Yeah, because what does the symbols mean?
Right.
People get all kinds of symbols. I don't know what it means. Oh, you need a dream therapist or a shaman to say, this is what your dream is talking about.
Yeah. Well, so awakening is what you were talking about, that we need the blinders off. We need to, that it's all there. It's right there in front of us, and that's what's happening. So what is it that I can do? What is it that we can do as individuals for 2033 to move in that direction for 2033 or 2051, regardless of reconnecting, to Mother Earth, to each other?
I think the most important thing is be here now. 2025 is really, this is really the springboard right now. This is the doorway right now. People talk about the year 2000. Back in 1987, it was called the harmonic convergence.
Yeah.
Was very much a key timing on the Mayan Toltec calendar system. And people gathered back then to bring in a quickening. Of course, in the 60s, we had the planets line up in Aquarius, and the song was being sung, The Dawning of the Age of Aquarius, sung by a band called The Fifth Dimension.
Sure.
So this fifth dimensional consciousness is wanting to come in. And so 87 and 2000, these are like gateways.
Wow.
What happens here defines what comes next. If what happens here at this gate is harmonious in bringing in a higher frequency, then it opens the door for a bit greater possibilities. If what comes in now is more destructive and more self-sabotaging, then we run into the sabotage energy. And so these are key gateways. So right now we're in that main trigger.
Really? 2025?
Yes.
I did not know that.
And look what's happening in Israel. They just bombed Iran's nuclear sites, and now Iran, is this going to trigger off World War III? Or are we going to say, Great Spirit, can we bring this down and calm this? Can your light intervene and calm this? Can people's frequency, by holding prayerful intent, allow for divine intervention through grace to come in to help to calm the earth? Because as human beings become more conflicting and more disharmonious, the earth also responds that way. And the sun responds that way too. Because we are one with the sun. We are one with the earth. We are extensions of them. That is us too. So as we are in discord, these greater bodies, they also reflect this time. So as humanity comes to a greater love, the sun and the earth's frequency will shift to a new time. In other words, the sun has been doing very unusual things this past month with chronal black holes and frequency waves and the Schumann resonance on the planet. Everything is, Earth and the sky is doing some energetic dance. Most people are not aware of it, but if you pay attention to these things, people have been documenting it also scientifically. But as these frequencies are coming in, they're also mean we have to open up to it. And what's inside that wants to come up? Is it fear-based? Is it angry? Is it divisive? Is it, wanting to tear down the world, or is it wanting to give birth to something more beautiful? So everybody's making a choice what frequency they want to put to the mix. And so it's not so much what we do, but the frequency that we hold. So if you're holding a high frequency, that can bring blessing into an environment. So many people begin to awaken to holding a frequency, because the frequency, then you act upon it. But if you act without the frequency, then the power is not there of the spirit. So people are acting out of anger or pain or struggle, or it can be very disruptive.
Yeah.
But now they can start to bring that in, come into a prayerful intent and a frequency, open the door to allow for a shift in the collective consciousness to move us in a positive direction. So what jolts people out of their stupidity?
Yeah.
The Earth Mother may start jolting people. Like, what happens? You have a big hurricane hit.
Right.
Like, oh, we better start to pray because this thing is coming. Oh, we better get supplies and stock up. oh, look there, the siren's going off. There's a big tornado coming, bigger than we normally recognize. Like, oh, can we go downstairs, get in the shelter? Great Spirit, please protect the family, please protect us. Tornado comes out and rips up all the houses, but hey, we survived. And how do we put the pieces back together? And do we cooperate? Are we working together? So we have, it's like, is there going to be support coming from the government, coming from social institutions to help to, support the people? Or is there a desire to pull away the safety net, take away the Social Security, take away the medical coverage? And is it going to be pulled up to the wealthy? Or is the wealthy going to say, let's share in this, because you can't take it with you. So a lot of people, when they're facing death and they got a lot of money, it's like, hey, maybe I did some bad things to get this money. Let me give some of this money back to a charity to make right the wrongs, my financial gain. So now if people who have the wealth can say, let's give back, let's help, because things can start to break down. Like there's a lot of people talking about, a lot of psychics that are talking about, the earthquakes coming in the ocean that bring the fire.
Yeah.
So is that going to happen in July? Is a controversial idea. I just feel like it doesn't have to happen. Let's just keep some prayers on there. But if it does happen, it's going to be a part of an upheaval that's going to shock humanity into, we got to live together and cooperate. Otherwise, we won't make it if we don't work together.
But if right now, I mean, there's only, what is it that we can do, that individuals could do? I mean, there's so much noise. People are under huge amounts of duress. And it's hard for a lot of people to see beyond really the challenges, serious challenges that they're facing, right? And no one really wants to be in those circumstances at any time, but wants to be told what to do or how to do it or what they're doing wrong. And so what's the conversation? What are the tools in our basic toolkit that can allow us to maybe just to strip away just a little bit of that, so we can see each other a little bit clearer, we can smell each other a little bit cleaner,
be here now.
Be here now.
Where's my breath? Am I connect? So people are not breathing. Like, hey, you're not breathing. You're just shallow breathing.
Yeah.
Begin to breathe in deep. Begin to connect with the breath is life. The Great Spirit is coming to the breath. So your breath is your prayer. So you begin to say, let me come into my center. Am I stressed? Am I burdened? Am I trying to do too much? Let me come back here and connect with that inner peace. And from that place, now let me go and do what is there for me to do, one step at a time. So obviously, how do I connect with others with like-mindedness, that we can begin to share an intent, a consciousness that is for harmony and beauty? So let's make a film. Let's promote a product that benefits human beings. How do we find our commercial and financial needs satisfied by being in harmony with what our product is giving to the people? There's a lot of our food's got chemicals in our food, but we got a lot of our medicines are toxic. Like if you have medicine in the Western world, the Western medicine is really good for, like, go to surgery, you have the acute situations, emergency, they're the best.
Yeah.
But if you're taking medication for, you have diabetes or you have this or that or this, the list of side effects is really scary.
Yeah.
And now you have this medicine is giving you this side effect. You're taking this medicine for that side effect, give you this side effect. And now all of a sudden your medicine becomes your poison. So we're having to get to healthy food, healthy water, clean air. Do we want to pollute our environment? So there's the environmental movement trying to protect the environment, but ultimately it's protecting the living beings from being poisoned from toxic environments. So we have this idea of mining and oil and gas and all these things that power our society, but at the same time, the toxic side effects. So prayerfulness, that Great Spirit, the higher powers that guide us, these also the star people are here to help us, can bring in inventions for free energy technology, for clean energy, for like pure water devices, for healing frequencies. A new time coming with new solutions.
Yes.
And we can't fix the old world because the old world is going to go down with its program, and a new world is being born. So how do we give birth to the new, and what can we trust that is authentic and is effective, and and so that's, everybody has to find solutions for themselves that work. But if we can share what helps us with others, but it's like inner peace is the big one.
Yeah.
And if people don't have any inner peace, our problem is that there's so much fake information out now.
Yeah.
And then you have people who are putting their agenda and they're twisting their spin on their belief system, making it better than it actually is, making others worse than it actually is. And all of a sudden we're being polarized with narratives that are dividing us, not bringing us together.
Right.
So I think, again, what brings us together? When the earth starts shaking things up.
Yeah.
And so that may be a necessary step, that, as painful as it may be, that the earth is going to start speaking to us and say, human beings work together. And as we have sincerity, and like saying, Great Spirit, help us and guide us.
Yeah.
If you believe in Jesus, if you believe in the Lord Buddha, if you believe in Krishna, it doesn't matter, because the divine comes through those personalities.
Yeah.
So, it's like us through the ancestors. So, but as long as you're making a connection with the divine, that you're doing the right thing, and if it's not creating love and beauty, then maybe it's not the right thing. Because a lot of people, in the name of religion and politics, are going over the edge with destructive impulses.
Mm.
I mean, just today, somebody shot 2 Democratic political people in Minnesota.
Oh my God.
Or Wisconsin or whatever. So that was a right-wing extremist that shot some politicians. So that kind of thing, people have to move away from that kind of, I'm right at all costs,
Yeah.
And the ends justify the means. It's like, no, are we treating each other humanly? Are we, because people, like, say these people today on the streets are No Kings protest. If they're coming with love and we want to be inclusive, it's good. But now if some of them are starting to burn up cars and blow up things and break windows and start hurting, that's where it's getting hijacked by negative forces, hijacking both sides.
Yeah.
People don't want that. We want to be like, we want to walk in balance. We need a right and a left. We need a masculine and a feminine. We need to have that balance.
Yeah.
And, it's like, we can talk about it, but ultimately people have to process where they are. And I'm just glad that there's many people now stepping up and being in a healing capacity to help people to integrate these changes.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have that much tools to work with in the past. But today there's a lot of tools. So the practitioners, the people who are the healers, and the people holding the sacred ways have to step up and get right with themselves and get right with their priorities, etc. So they can be of service. And
well, I love that you said that. As we come toward the end of this here, you said tools, and I think one of the things that in positive psychology, for me, that is so, and by the way, I'm blown away by so much of what you said. I mean, 1987 is, I followed Guru Mai for a long time. I was here in Sedona back a long time ago, but 87 is when I met her and went to the Love Intensive in South Fallsburg, and that that day changed my life. It was more than a day. It was months and years, but it was that day that I met her, and here I am, and you're springing new hope for me about 2025 and rebirth and I felt it stripped down as I was coming down the hill, and feeling that there is a little bit of a rebirth happening. I want to ask you in just the healing process, because there was a lot of scent and fragrance. Can you just talk about the things that you were burning and what they signify, what they mean?
I use a little bit of sage and also a little bit of mixture of sage and tobacco in my pipe. So these have been used as ways to clear energy and bring in prayerful intent. So you have this thought tradition with incense or like sacred wood that people burn.
Yeah.
Tree resins, like that.
Yeah.
So always they have been used. The smoke has been is a way to open up the door, to clear away the energy that is here and open up the receiver.
Yeah.
Receiver input.
It's incredible. You said, woods, tree resin, tobacco, sage, herbs, incense. These are all things in fragrance, right? That are available in that. And, just talking about different tools, there's so much to be said with what you're talking about with intent, just the intent. On the trip today, just before I took off, I sprayed air on. And, our fragrances are clean and all of that. But for me, it was more about the intent, that I was really just like, I really wanted to commit to air being this day and the value of the day and what was going on, and I felt that happening with you, with the healing and the sage, that there was real intent and real purpose, and that all of us have some level of tools, some kind of toolkit that we have available to us, whether it's the Bible or whether it's, the Quran or, whatever that is, or whether it's our garden, being in the garden, or working with the fresh, healthy vegetables, or, working with flowers, or
being present with the moment of whatever it is
whatever that is, our baby, our children, just for anyone, being actually available, listening, having real eye contact, real human connection.
The real key is when that which is in direct opposition to what we believe in, and people are embodying a negative force like that, how does that affect us? And can we still hold our center? If we can still hold our center, because it's really easy to be high on the mountain in the cave, or on the mountain and by the river, etc. But to be in the middle of this chaotic world and still hold our center. And that is really the test that we are having to step up to now. So, you said 2051 or something. I think 2050, 2051, that's when we believe the first star of Aquarius comes to the eastern horizon. So that time we'll have gone through this transition period we're going through now. And it's always good to look to the future, that things will be better in the future. But right now is where we're going through the upheaval.
Right.
And so it's always good to, like, we're being guided by this light of the future, but it's got to be here now. That's where the future is a part of intention. Our intention is to be there with an enlightened society, but we can't get to unless we're here now. And that's the part of intent. So intent is more powerful than intention. Intention guides us, but it has no power to be present. Being present, embodying your frequency, your faith, and embodying your purpose, embodying, in spite of the struggles, we're embodying the light of the divine that you can hold. By holding that, I am that. So when you talk to various masters, they'll say to you, everything is perfect because I have touched heaven, and I know the perfection of heaven, and I am holding that perfection here and now. And everything's perfect. This is what I see, that whatever is breaking down is just the illusion of form that has to evolve through its karma. And so as this is breaking down, I'm holding that light. And, obviously it's not easy to see suffering. So compassion and, prayerfulness for the greater whole, because we can't heal the whole world. We can only heal ourselves, but we can still act, and we can still create an economy, buy things that we believe in and support. And then which we don't, we just withdraw from that and let it die of its own, as we withdraw what we don't believe in and create what we do believe in. So instead of trying to change the old world and fix it, we're giving birth to a new world, a new earth.
Listen, I think I will cherish what you said, so much of what you've said, but the last part of being able to, my take was maintain equanimity when confronted with something that, I don't agree with.
It's in the shadow.
Yeah.
It's a struggle, the spiritual war is taking place.
Yeah.
And most people are ignorant of that because they're only in the 3D, but in the 4D, and yet the light and the shadow is pushing and working the war about between humanity. Humanity embodies the light or the shadow. So we have to choose the light.
It feels like that's the only way for us to really move ahead is, and I'm not going to lie to you, I find it very challenging. But we're committed to it, no matter how uncomfortable it is or might be.
Yeah. And for some people are can be the thick of it. Like we can have our bubble, our sacred space. The change in the world is going to impact our bubble. And some people are going to be out there in the midst of all that upheaval. Can they maintain that bubble of their sacred space? That's going to be the test for us to bring in our connection to the divine, whether that's the Lord Jesus or that's Lord Krishna, the Lord Buddha. We're bringing in the power of the avatars. The avatars are wanting to embody, and we have to be the embodiment that allows for the groundwork.
Amazing. Our brand is Free Yourself, and we say creating space to flourish. And you said the sacred space, that container that allows us to love, and really, this is such an amazing treat. I really appreciate you doing this, and I think there might be a part 2 coming somewhere down the road because I'm going to have to come back and visit you again. I really, really enjoyed that.
And if it's not so hot, going on the land.
That'd be amazing.
The land is magical, so take some time and go experience that. And
yeah, thank you. I'll do that as the sun sets tonight. Go out and enjoy that. So, well, thank you very much. And if everybody who's joined us, if you'll follow us at freeyourself.com, free yourself and flourish, and keep going, supporting us on the tour and join us on the tour on this journey collectively, all of us together, because it's really everybody's journey. And I've learned so much today from you and from your sharing, and I'm just very grateful to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hold your presence. That's it. Hold your presence.
All right.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Rahelio. Amazing, man. Thank you so much.
Oh.